Yeah. Has anybody put in a submission to the council? I'll come back to you too. Yes, you have a submission. What did you say? Uh-huh.
And what we were trying to provide was support to the council for the ambition that's been expressed in the plan. Particularly, we'd like to see more recognition of the unique geographical assets that Auckland has, which gives it its special qualities, and we believe that a lot more should be made of the landscape and enabling Auckland to become the world's most livable city.
Yeah, just in time.
There's the microphone.
I should have waited for the microphone because I know that we could hear, but unfortunately the audience, unless they're really good lip readers online, would have had a problem. But that's great about that sense of the physical bones of the city. It's extraordinary with the coastline and the hills and the streams, which do get lost largely in the...
It's the interaction between
Yeah.
the land and the people.
Yes, and the ability to have extraordinary vistas in Auckland. Yeah. Did anybody else make a submission? We got the professionals down here who did. Matthew, what did you? Oh, sorry.
I'll just make a comment that I thought the content of the plan, the draft plan, was really excellent, and I really bought into a lot of that. What really concerns me, though, is the ability those ideas to manifest themselves on the ground through embedding a culture within the huge council that has now been established, 7,000 people, that are really going to be the vision makers for the rest of us as a community, and working with us, and how you build that culture of every one of those 7,000 people buying in to the ideas and working together on those, I think is the real challenge. And there wasn't a lot of discussion about how that might be achieved, and I think that will be the next challenge. Is the ideas are great, how do we then make that work on the ground?
Yeah. One way, sorry, I should let you answer the question because you're on the council, but I'll just chip in my 2 cents about it. One way is actually with the local boards, the 21 local boards. Back in February, I was involved with the local boards for over a couple of days, helping them think more strategically. And we had wonderful people like Charles Landry, who's a great thinker and doer on cities, contributing on that. And we finished the 2 days with each of the 21 boards giving some expression of what that long-term view for their particular area was, for their area. And we had them come up and talk very briefly to what it was, and we put them there, you know, Rodney on down, all the way down to Franklin, in the rough layout of the city. It was actually quite remarkable because the views were very local and intensely local and personal in one sense, but the level of ambition was great and enormously varied. So from Great Barrier Island, they said, our population's declining and we're getting poorer. So what we want to do is turn that around. We want more people and we want to be slightly wealthier. And so each of those 21 boards was able to express something about how they can do something for themselves but contribute to that, you know, mosaic of Auckland. So that's one of the things which is giving me a lot of hope about all this. But how does that feel inside the council in terms of the sort of urban design work you're doing and how that relates down to a local level rather than just sort of city-wide or city centre?
My role is now responsible for heritage for the whole region, cultural, natural and built, plus air, land, water, coastal issues for the region as well. So right from the far north down to the south, and it's phenomenal, a challenge and a real privilege, I suppose. But you know, we're engaging with the local boards. As I said, we've been going for 9 months, so it's a new company. I mean, our CEO met up with Andrew Ferrier a few months back, and who is the CEO of Frontera, and they talked about the transformation of Frontera. It had a huge restructure, and they talked about, well, how long did it take to stabilise? And it was sort of 3 to 5 years and yet in the first 7 months we have produced an Auckland plan. There's never been one before. We've produced local board plans. We've sat down with the different departments. We've got us all together. We have one mayor. We have one vision. We're trying to produce one unitary plan. We have design champions in every single local board. So this idea of a local champion for design as part of a network. We have heritage champions in every single local board. You know, I think we are really getting on the front foot with a lot of things which were, you know, inherited a series of quite poor provisions before. And I think that the new mayor, the new council, there's a really interesting debate at council meetings. It's it's more open, it's more discussive, it's more engaging, it's more opinion shaping rather than like this, and I find it really exhilarating. So, you know, last month we had $40 million given to us to acquire heritage sites across the region, to redo them and then on-sell them. I mean, that's never been done before. So that's just my area, but I just there's great things happening, but the public don't know that all yet. It's so early, and I just think only time will tell. But we are working our socks off trying to get this thing moving, yet we've just started working together, so half of us don't know each other. So it's kind of a exciting time. And what sort of people are those heritage and design champions in each local board? Are they're local people, but not necessarily... Who voted themselves through their local board to nominate themselves as the champion for that local board area, to ensure that they work with the council on heritage matters and, you know, raise the bar, I guess. They're board members. Board members, right, yes. From that's the very interesting. Which is really exciting.
And this is going to be the key, I think, because I think the real key is going to be these local boards. Yeah. And because we were talking about the neighbourhoods, because there are all of these little communities, and being able, those local boards to be able to represent them, but not only represent them, give them a bit of added value. I mean, so and a lot of the times it's, you know, it's as banal as moving the bus stop from here to here so that, you know, kids can cross the road better or something. Yeah. That makes an enormous amount of difference. If the local board can do that and demonstrate they can make a difference in their community, then it filters up and people have confidence. Yeah. And you know, I guess the risk is that at the top kind of it comes raining down, and it's really good to hear what you were talking about the bottom starting to kind of rally up, because they're going to have to demonstrate that they can represent their neighbourhoods and their communities. It was a slow start, I would say. It was very slow. Yeah. I think that was because they were getting organised. Going to be more difficult too. Now they're getting organised and they're getting vocalised and mobilised. It's very, you know, we're has anybody here in the studio had any direct dealings with the council? And so I don't mean just on paying your rates or complaining about rubbish not picked up, but on a sort of a rather more strategic or substantive issue. I mean, separate from making submissions. Well, sorry, yes, you obviously had a lot, yes. How's it been for you?
I think it's been really great, because I think before we had the Auckland Council, Auckland was run by a series of very bad organisations, and it was a pig's breakfast. You couldn't get a hold of anybody. There was no accessibility to the people who make decisions. You're always butting heads with council, and it was just a very difficult process. And I've just been so impressed over the last 6 to sort of 8 months as council, as Len and the councillors and particularly the officers have been so accessible that they're out there, they're actually searching for the ideas and they're actually looking to get the feedback from the people on the ground. And I think that's something that's just very, very transformational, and it's happened so quickly. It gives a lot of encouragement to, certainly from me, from a development point of view, that maybe we're actually going to start to see a city that transforms and works well, and that works with developers and actually sees this kind of partnership thing going on. And so I think this new city council is doing a phenomenal job. I'm really impressed. And I would have to say, as much as we hated his and cringed at his dancing, you know, we have to thank Rodney Hyde in part for that. I'm not supportive of Rodney Hyde, but you know, he did actually unlock Auckland to be able to achieve it, and in doing that task, it's actually done something quite well. It's done probably the best thing Auckland could have ever have happened to it.
Yes.
It's a bureaucratic earthquake.
But largely informed by the Royal Commission.
Yeah.
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 Okay, I don't want to give him too much credit.
No, that's right. And he is a politician after all.
Actually, probably we can afford to, seeing as he's leaving Parliament. Sorry, that's gratuitous.